"Daddy, why is that lady sleeping outside in the cold?" The little girl's voice pierced through the night air, her small hand tugging at her father's sleeve. The man froze, his heart pounding as he turned toward the figure curled against a wall. In that moment he knew. This was not just a stranger's story. This was a test of his own humanity. The night was cold, the kind of cold that seeped into bones and made the air feel sharp with each breath. Streetlights flickered, casting long shadows on the empty road. A man walked hand in hand with his young daughter, carrying the simple warmth of their evening together. But their peace broke when the little girl suddenly stopped, pointing with wide, innocent eyes. "Daddy, why is she sleeping outside?" Her words sliced into the silence. Against a stone wall, covered only by a thin, tattered blanket, lay a woman. Her hair was tangled, her face marked by exhaustion, her hands curled tightly as though clutching invisible dreams. The man felt his chest tighten, caught between the honesty of a child's question and the weight of an adult's world. He wanted to look away, to keep walking, to protect his daughter from the harshness of reality. But the girl's gaze held steady. To her, it was not complicated. It was simply wrong. The man had not always been this way. He once believed that helping people was someone else's job. Years ago, life had broken him in its own ways. His wife's passing had left a hollow place, one he tried to fill with long work hours and quiet silence. Yet through it all, his daughter's laughter remained the only thing that pulled him back from the dark. She reminded him daily of the values his wife had carried, the quiet belief that kindness was never wasted. Now, standing under that flickering streetlight, those values came rushing back. For a moment he hesitated. People walked past, pretending not to notice the woman. A couple across the street turned their faces, as though indifference could erase responsibility. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what he would do. And then, without a word, he knelt beside the woman. His daughter leaned closer, her small eyes blinking with both fear and hope. He touched the woman's shoulder gently, and she stirred, startled, as if unsure whether to trust the moment. "You don't have to stay here tonight," the man said softly. It wasn't pity in his voice. It was conviction. The woman's lips trembled. She had grown used to rejection, to being invisible. But here was a man with a child by his side, offering not coins, not sympathy, but dignity. Slowly she nodded, tears pooling in her weary eyes. They walked together through the quiet streets, the little girl skipping slightly ahead, humming softly as if to fill the silence with comfort. The father kept a steady pace, every step feeling heavier but also lighter, as though he was carrying both a burden and a blessing. By the time they reached their modest home, the woman's hands were shaking. She paused at the doorstep, afraid of being a burden. But the girl turned back, smiling as though she were welcoming an old friend. "Come inside," the girl whispered. Inside, the house smelled of warm bread and faint lavender, remnants of a life filled with small comforts. The woman sat cautiously at the table, her eyes darting as though the kindness might vanish at any moment. The man placed a bowl of hot soup in front of her, and for the first time in a long while she felt human again. As she ate slowly, the little girl rested her chin on her hands, watching her with pure admiration. "Daddy, can she stay with us until she feels better?" The man's heart ached. He thought of his wife, of the love she gave so freely, of the way she would have wanted him to choose compassion over convenience. He nodded, his voice steady. "Yes, she can stay as long as she needs." The woman lowered her spoon, tears streaming down her face. She whispered words that seemed to tremble with both gratitude and disbelief. "You saved me." But the man shook his head. "No, it was my daughter. She saw you when the world looked away. From that night on, the woman began to rebuild her life, piece by piece. With rest, warmth, and dignity, she found strength again. And the little girl learned that the smallest voice could change the world. In the silence of their home, the man finally understood something his wife had always known. True power lies not in wealth or strength, but in choosing compassion when no one else will. And as the story spread through whispers in their town, people began to look differently at those they once ignored. The woman became not a symbol of pity, but of hope, that a single act of kindness could ripple further than anyone could imagine. Kindness is not charity, it is respect. One small act of kindness can change a life. If this story touched you, share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more.